Good morning, everyone. Is this on? Okay. We welcome you this morning to the Unitarian Universal Fellowship of Northern Nevada, where it is our mission to grow together in love, faith, justice, and joy. My name is Linda O'Neill. My pronouns are she and her. I am honored to serve as your worship associate today. I am humbled for this experience to be able to see all of you together and connect with each of you in this hour. We are meeting on the lands of the Paiute, Shoshone, and Washoe tribes. We need to be mindful of our profound debt to our brothers and sisters. When we acknowledge these lands that we walk upon each day, we will always think of our great brother and sisters and the beautiful land full of wonder that we are privileged to every day. Our Nevada holds many interesting facts about the land, and I always try to bring an interesting fact each time that I'm the speaker. More than 360 million years ago, Nevada was a low-relief continental shelf with a lot of marine creatures living in a warm, shallow sea. So actually, Nevada was part of the lands that was under the seas. We welcome you regardless of racial identity, age, economic circumstances, immigration status, sexual orientation, or gender identity. We welcome you and are glad to know we have come together with like thoughts of being here to support each other. I want to extend a special welcome to our visitors and our new members. We also want to extend our welcome to our members and friends that have attended with us countless times. We are always happy to have our young children and their families present today. Whether inside the sanctuary or on Zoom, hello Zoom. Those of you on Zoom will remain muted during the service. You can put your comments in the chat box. Welcome. So the next is announcements, and I have two people. So we'll start with Billy Lee, and then we'll follow with Kevin.
Good morning. I love seeing all those smiling faces out there. Very bright and cheery. And I've got my backup group there in the back. Help me out here. Well, last week you remember that Lynn, in her very understated and modest way, began to introduce you to the Great Chili Cook-Off, which is going to happen on October 11th. My job today is, with the help of this hat, I want you to know about this hat because Sheila gave me this hat before she left. So Sheila and I are going to tell you about the cook-off, but she had no idea, neither did I, how soon I would be able to press this hat into use. I thought it might be Halloween or something before that happened. Anyway, so today I want to give you a little more information. Our plan is to tantalize you. Okay, I'll just be upfront about it. So I want to tell you today about the 3 roles that you might find yourself, any one of which you might find yourself interested in fulfilling. But all of you are going to want to go for this first one because it's the chili chompers. So if you're a chili chomper, all you got to do is eat chili and whatever else comes along with it. So everybody, of course, is going to want to sign up for that. The second one is the chili slingers. They're the ones who make the chili that we're going to chomp on. So if you think you might want to do that, you're going to want to do 2 things. The third one is the chili champs. These are the ones who think they have the best chili recipes and the best way to make them of anybody else. So your job right now, there are 2 pieces to your job right now. Today when you get home, you get your calendar and you turn to October 11th and you draw a barbed wire around it so nothing can interrupt that, and that is set aside. And then you decide what roles you want to play. Of course, chili chomper, but do you also want to be a chili slinger? Do you want to be a chili champ? The chili champ wins a grand prize. So you be thinking about that and stay tuned for next week when we'll give you a little bit more information. Thank you. Good to see you.
Hi, I'm Kevin Murphy. I'm supposed to say he, him, and his. I actually think of my pronouns, since I'm a Unitarian Universalist, as who, what, and why. We'll struggle with some of those issues on Thursday evening at the annual Sunday Forum, Brainstorm and Taco Bar. So you have to wait till October for chili, but you don't have to wait until Thursday for the taco. You can have 2 tacos if you want, and Rachel's tacos are the very best in Nevada. I assure you, you should come try them. There's also Mexican beer. There is a rule, though. You have to contribute at least one idea to the Sunday Forum schedule in order to get the second beer. So Thursday evening, 5 o'clock, Star King. We'll also be on Zoom, but you have to be there in person in order to eat a taco.
And then the last announcement, be sure to fill out your joys and sorrows cards and bring them up front. Richard will read them. Now is the time for us to welcome each other. Be sure to social distance as preferred. I will start the singing bowl when it's time to end. So go ahead and welcome each other.
Good morning. How are y'all doing today? All right, good. I had a full day yesterday with the Nevada Society of Scottish Clans. We had our annual picnic at Bowers Mansion. And wouldn't you know it, no cell reception. So had really good conversations, and then we were down in Carson City for an Irish band playing at the Brewery Arts Center. So it was a very full day by the time I got home late last night, and continue to get in a place to be ready for this morning. I've really been looking forward to this service. So I think our political climate has generated fear in our lives, all kinds of fear about the future. How do we remain grounded in hope for a better world, a better tomorrow in the midst of this reality? I think we keep doing the things that we have been doing to make our part of the world a better place. Keep being you, keep doing the work of social justice. So I learned a long time ago from a friend of mine that I used to minister with back in the mid to late 80s and early 90s, traveled around the country with the late Reverend Sylvia Pennington. And she said that her world was transformed when she listened to people's stories and she found out who they were. And when she found out who they were, it was diametrically opposed to what her church was telling her about the people, and she started to understand that LGBT people are people just like everybody else. And so her work transformed from trying to change LGBT people to be straight to her first book was the stories of five LGBT people, all of whom became friends of mine in the mid-'80s, and stories about how they tried not to be gay or lesbian because the church was telling them, you can't be who you are. And so they're powerful stories of hope in the midst of the fear that was brought onto them, stories of hope about how they could move forward into the future. So today we're going to look a little bit at what fear has done, but we're going to look at how the hope can transform our lives.
So just one brief announcement. If you have a joys or sorrows card, you can bring it up here in the front. I'm going to ask Richard to light the chalice. Okay. We light the chalice, a symbol of our faith and hope in the midst of darkness, knowing that even the smallest flame can offer warmth and guidance. May the light of this chalice spark joy, gratitude, and hope in each of us as we gather together, sharing our individual gifts to build a more hopeful world. So now is the time for stories of all ages, and I'm going to read a book today about speaking out if you have something to say, something that you think is positive, something that you think would help someone. I was speaking to Nathan, and he said, you know, Richard can really say the story for all ages. He can really read it better than anybody, Nathan tells me. And then I tried to get Richard to read it this morning, but he didn't want an extra job. So, anyway. The world needs your voice. And all people who are brave enough to say something and move the world to a better place, hoping others to do the same. The world needs your voice. Mine? Yes, yours. Go ahead. It doesn't need to be perfect as long as it's from your heart. You don't have to be loud. Powerful words can be a whisper. You can say something in so many ways, with words, with action, and with creativity. If you see someone lonely, say something by just being there for them. If you see an empty lot, say something by planting a seed and watching it bloom. If you see someone being hurt, say something by being brave. Hey, stop. If you see something beautiful, say something with a poem. If you have a brilliant idea, say something with confidence. If you want to show the world who you are, say something with style. If you are angry, say something to help people understand. If you see an injustice, say something peacefully. Inspire others to do the same. Sometimes you'll say something and no one will be listening, but keep saying what is in your heart, and you will find someone who listens. Keep saying it. You may be surprised to find the whole world is listening. If you are grateful for being alive, quietly say something to the stars and to the universe. Some people find it easier to say something than others, but everyone has something to say.
Good morning. So we're going to sing our opening hymn. It is 10:15 in our teal book, and it is called I Know I Can. Marilee will play it through on the piano once so you can get a hang of the melody, but please rise in body or spirit and join us. Thanks.
Now's the time for our joys and sorrows. Is that an email from Xiomara? Joys and concerns for the people of Puerto Rico after the passing of Hurricane Erin. Over 150,000 people are without electricity. Emily is having surgery this coming Tuesday, so we lift her up. And from Judy, she's finally at peace with the suicide of her sweet husband, and that fills me with, if not joy, with peace. So this prayer for this prayer for all who are left fearful about the economy, about the fate of our country, health care for yourself or your children, for all whose heart aches at the injustices being done to others in our name, for all who fear for the survival of the planet, for all who fear whether they will be allowed to enter or to leave or to remain. We make this prayer for all who deal daily with failing health, difficult diagnoses, challenging treatments, or healthcare routines, for all who struggle with difficulties at school or work, for all who are facing hard decisions, for all who are living in challenging relationships. We make this prayer for ourselves, for all the fears and concerns, the joys and the celebrations. We make this prayer for the children, for their future, and for every blooming possibilities of spring. We make this prayer to hold in our hearts all the precious blessings of our lives. We make this prayer not because we expect it to make the world turn or change. We make this prayer to remind ourselves of who we are, of what life is, and how important love can be. We make this prayer because these words are what we need. So when I was asked what I was going to talk about the last couple of months, I'm like, the only theme that keeps reverberating in my mind is that I keep hearing stories of why people are afraid, what is causing fear, and a little bit about some hope. So I wanted to start out with who's living in and who has hope today. Just shout out whatever is hopeful in your life right now. Family, okay. And who's living in fear these days? Just call out, what is your fear? End of democracy. Being a woman. Climate. Right? All of these things we hold. So I think we live with both hope and fear in different ways at the same time. I always have to apologize. I don't know if I should apologize or not. I had surgery 11 years ago on my eyes, and now my eyes water all day long. So they get watery and then they're blurry. This isn't to say stop living in fear. Fear is real. It's a perceived threat to our lives, our livelihood. So what do? How do we get up each day when we are threatened or feel threatened? I know people in this room have said that they are afraid to leave their home. Recently, I listened to stories of someone whose son, who is Filipino living in a large metropolitan city, and due to the violence and threats against immigrants, the son is afraid to take the bus to work. He's a legal U.S. citizen, but he's afraid. We have to speak against the things that are causing this fear, like the story for all ages this morning. If you see something wrong going on, say something. Now, if saying something means putting yourself in danger, then maybe it's not the right place or the right time. Maybe it's better to call 911, if that would even work. It might be something else, but remember that your safety is important. Fear of people usually has to do with our being ignorant or uneducated or taught to treat people who look different or have a visible disability or are taller or shorter than most or have darker or lighter skin tones. So my two siblings and I grew up with two physically disabled grandfathers. They were two of the few men that did not serve in World War II because they were both physically disabled. I remember after visiting, we called my dad's grandfather, our dad's dad, we called him Bappo. So I remember after visiting Bappo that our mom would yell at me and my siblings because we would walk like Bappo. Bappo was born without a hip socket. So it was flesh against the bone. He was in pain 24/7 his entire 75 and a half years. Our mom would get mad at us because she thought we were making fun of his limp, but we weren't making fun of him, we were imitating him and walking like him. What we didn't know as little kids was that he was born, like I just said, without that hip socket. So he lived with incredible pain. He had to wear leg braces and use crutches to walk all the way through high school. After high school, he said no to his parents. He got rid of the crutches, he got rid of the leg braces, and he used a cane the rest of his life. I have that cane now in my car. It's when I'm having trouble with my hip. So Dami and Bappo traveled all over the country, Canada and Mexico, driving their Silverstream trailer with their Lincoln Continental. And in the 1950s, they hiked the same trails in the Sierra Mountains that I did in the 1970s with the Boy Scouts. And that's to say, he didn't allow his physical disability to keep him from doing anything. He didn't allow that fear of what his mother had told him to put him down. He could have had surgery in the 40s or 50s, but because of the words of his mother, he never had surgery. So, my mom's dad, he lost his right arm in an industrial meatpacking industry in a meatpacking plant in Henry County in Kewaunee, Illinois, right after my mom was born. He had a prosthetic arm that he could attach, had a hook on it. He used that with a little knob on the steering wheel to drive. But most of the time when we'd visit them, that prosthetic arm was, I always have joked for many, many years, that prosthetic arm most of the time was sitting on the kitchen table, unless we were all eating. I think this helped us kids to not accept what seemed very normative when people around us chose to treat people with disabilities unkindly. I think most of us have experienced how kids can be, name-calling, being bullied, being a bully, and that often carries into adulthood where it escalates. We learn that things happen and you deal with it the best way you can. Seeing our grandfathers live their lives without fear about their physical bodies makes me reflect that they chose to live life regardless of what others like their own mother said to them that could have caused them to be stuck and not move forward. Unfortunately, both of their moms were kind of not very nice people and told them, you're not going to amount to anything, and things like that that were very negative. And both of them chose to live their lives differently than how their mothers talked to them. I remember a time when words engendered fear in me, afraid of those that hurled words at me. Those words in and of themselves were terrifying to hear. But then again, I was afraid of just about everything because I grew up in a house where I was screamed and yelled at every single day, all day long, and I didn't know anything else. So I lived in fear all the time. When I moved to San Francisco from Los Angeles at the end of January 1990, it was just a couple of months after the Loma Prieta earthquake. It was the beginning of a new world. And a little more than a year later, friends invited me to join them at meetings in the at the Women's Center in the Mission area of San Francisco. There was a new group forming. So many people were there. The energy was tangible. At first, I was uncomfortable hearing people say that they're forming this group called Queer Nation. I was so uncomfortable. I was just like, I would seize up. I just did not want to hear that word because it had such negative connotations to me. I was back in college working on my bachelor's degree, going to these meetings. I joined committees that were taking action to take our city back. LGBT peoples were being harassed in the non-gay bars, being harassed in the streets, and so much more. So we started showing up en masse. We had kiss-ins at some of those bars where we were being harassed. We took BART to the East Bay, went to a shopping mall in Walnut Creek, and chanted things like, "We're here, we're queer, get used to it." We took back the words that had been used to harm us. And so my body, my mind, my heart, my whole self started to transform. I saw this quote on Facebook the other day, "Queer. I remember when that word made me want to disappear. Now I see kids using it like it's nothing. Freely, proudly, casually. That's the revolution we fought for. Some of us still can't say it without feeling the sting, and that's okay. Your trauma is real, but watching our community transform a weapon into a badge of honor, that's power. Gay, queer, both, neither, you get to choose now. And that choice, that's the sweetest victory of all." That was posted by Gay Buzzer on Facebook this week. So the sweetest victory of all is hope for today, hope for tomorrow, because much of the world around us has changed in positive ways. Now I'm going to tell a story. This story comes from a book called The Lilac People by Milo Todd. It's set in Berlin 90 years ago, right before the onset of World War II, and the culture was changing. A country is only as strong as its most vulnerable people. And you, son, if you may forgive me for saying, you are on the lowest rung of the ladder. You are a canary, birdie. Transvestites are the canaries of the world. You know from our own library that bad people always go after transvestites first, no matter the country or culture. They are the first ones removed when an environment turns poisonous. What makes it more worrisome is you represent everything. You represent housing and job security and access to health care. You represent workers' rights and voting rights and full stomachs and freedom. And perhaps most importantly of all, you represent the right to body and personhood. You represent a country not owning you, not using you, however benefits a select few at the top. You represent a country of a people, not a country of the dominant. If transvestites are under attack, then the whole country is on the brink of destruction. If transvestites are cared for, the rest of us are cared for. You touch everything a strong society has to offer. We could work, we could eat, we could be healthy, we could live in safe homes, We could decline to fight in unnecessary wars. Our country would be honest. We would no longer be tricked. Our country would take care of us, and we, in turn, would take care of our country. So as long as transvestites are okay, we know society is too. That's why I'm here for you, because I love my country. We would probably today change the word transvestites to transgendered and transsexual, but the story remains the same. When transgendered, transsexual people are under attack, who's next? We're all under attack. As probably most of you know, every reference to LGBT peoples has been erased from every government website. And that happened right after the swearing in. The story resonates truth because we know some people are viewed as the least important or not important by some people. When the outcast people, the people of color, the gender non-conforming people are free to be who they are, then we are all free and we have hope. We have a safer society for all of us. So I'd pause for a moment just to say thank you to everyone here, because you make it a safer place for all of us. Now back to World War II. Viktor Frankl, I'm sure some of you have heard of Viktor Frankl. He wrote, "They took my name. They took my freedom, my family, but they never managed to take away my senses." I survived 4 concentration camps. They branded me with a number. I grew up in LA. I had lots of Jewish classmates, some of whose parents went through the Holocaust. I lived in Woodland Hills and then in Hollywood and West Hollywood, and I can't tell you how many neighbors I had who had survived concentration camps. They still had the numbers tattooed on their wrists. Just a side note, I'm so tired of people saying this didn't happen. I know this happened. Viktor Frankl writes, "They took everything from me, my books, my dreams, even my pregnant wife. Every day I saw someone die. Some threw themselves against the electric fences. Others simply stopped fighting. I too was on the brink, but I decided that if I couldn't change my fate, I would change my attitude toward it. One night, as I shivered from the cold, I imagined myself giving a lecture at a university, recounting everything I had experienced. I clung to that image like a rope in the abyss. That idea, finding purpose even in pain, was what kept me alive. It wasn't just about surviving, it was about understanding why I should live. When I was liberated, I didn't find any of my family alive. They were all dead. I could have destroyed myself, but I chose to write. That's how man's search for meaning was born. I didn't write it to be famous. I wrote it so the world would know that even if everything is taken away from you, if you have a why, you will always find a how. There are things in life you cannot control, but you can control how you respond to them. And that can save you, because even in hell, he who has a purpose has hope. So I think Viktor Frankl is saying, finding a way, when at first you may think there is no way of going forward, finding a way to move forward, that's the hope that we have to cling on to. The current rounding up of legal immigrants, and I read another story this morning of a 32-year-old Latina in Los Angeles, a US-born citizen, has always lived in LA, and she was arrested and thrown in jail by ICE this last week. It's all a horrifying reminder to me of what happened to Japanese at the onset of World War II. My high school English teacher, Mrs. Sachi Fujikawa, and the secretary of our high school were both prisoners at Manzanar, south of Bishop along Highway 395. Mrs. Fujikawa Sachi was a teenager at the outbreak of the war. She was born in California. She was a U.S. citizen. Yet she and her family lost everything when her family was forcibly relocated to Manzanar. They were held against their will. There was no due process for the Japanese because they were all viewed as a threat. But ironically, many Japanese young men volunteered to serve in various branches of the military during World War II, and many of them died serving our country. Now, personal perspective, I don't remember reading or hearing about the same thing happening to any of the German or Italian immigrants and their families. They weren't rounded up. They weren't put in concentration camps. They weren't arrested. Ah, there was some things, right? Thank you. So she was saying that her grandparents, her grandfather had a boat in San Pedro, California, suburb of Los Angeles, part of Los Angeles County, that his boat was taken away. So some things did happen to some of the Italian immigrants. There was a lot of support in the USA for Nazism, and anti-Semitism was high, which is why the USA didn't join the war against Nazism until after we were bombed at Pearl Harbor. Today, we know that there are some illegal immigrants. However, most immigrants are documented. They can't work without green cards. Employers have had to fill out I-9 forms for many, many decades without an employee's status as either a U.S. citizen or an immigrant. I keep hearing about legal immigrants being detained, arrested. Some have been deported, all of which are against our laws and violate the U.S. Constitution of due process, regardless of whether one is a citizen or an immigrant. Things happen that are out of our control, but what we can do is work together for the world the way we want it to be. Many of you will remember the slogans used in the 1980s through the probably mid-1990s or so by ACT UP, fighting for people living with HIV/AIDS. Our slogans were action equals life, silence equals death. I think these slogans are as true today as they were then for a multitude of reasons. All I ask is that each of us do our part, whatever part that is, because it's going to be different for all of us. So back to our opening words, I think our political climate has generated fear in our lives, all kinds of fear about the future. How do we remain grounded in hope for a better world, a better tomorrow in the midst of this reality? I think we keep doing the things we have been doing to make our part of the world a better place. Keep being you, keep doing the work of social justice. Be the example, a reflection of how you want the world to be. When I was passing the congregation in town years ago, a Christian congregation, what I would say is, be the face of God that you want to reflect. So I might change that a little bit and say, be the face of what you believe in to reflect your light to those around you. Emma Lazarus, the great Jewish poet in 1883, wrote, "Until we are all free, we are none of us free." At the end of 1882, when she was in the midst of penning her open letters, she wrote for the new year, Rosh Hashanah, that beautifully conveyed her vision of a people rolling homeward to its ancient source. So I think it's appropriate to end in the infamous words of Bob Marley, "Don't worry, everything's gonna be all right." Peace be with you.
As we approach the time for the offering, give what you will for the church that has meant so much to you, and for the church that has meant to those who came before you, and for the church that will mean so much to people you will never know. Give what you will, for you are a generous people. For those of us that are physically together here at the sanctuary, we will be passing the basket. For those of us on Zoom, you can do your offering virtually. Just follow the steps on the slide. Here at UUFNN each month, we also give folks an opportunity to share the plate. Recipient for the month of August is the Eddy House. They have a clear mission to create a safe environment for homeless and at-risk youth to develop the life and job skills necessary for independence. It is a central resource for youth experiencing homelessness. Now let the offering begin. Please join Nancy and myself to dedicate these offerings to the work of this fellowship, which is helping more people grow in love, faith, justice, and joy. We dedicate ourselves, and these are offerings.
Please rise in body or spirit and join us in singing 10:12 in our teal hymnal, When I Am Frightened.
Certain, you hold my hand.
We extinguish the chalice flame. Be kind, be brave, be just, be merciful, be hopeful. This is how we keep the chalice flame burning until we are together again to light it anew. Thank you.
Please rise in body or spirit and join us for our choir and spoken benedictions.
Thank you to Sam and the choir for an outstanding job once again. So thanks to all of you, continuing the light of the chalice flame in your hearts, sharing with everyone. We continue that light to light the world around us. Go in peace.
Sunshine, when our orange-colored view, flash, bam, alakazam, wonderful you came by. Remember, watch out for flying glass, 'cause the ceiling fell in and the bottom fell out. I went into a spin and I started to shout, I've been hit. This is it, this is it. I was walking along, minding my business, when look, he hit me in the eye. Flash, bam, alakazam, out of an orange-colored sky. Gonna hear him drinking the sunshine, when out of orange-colored view. Flash, bam, alakazam, wonderful you came by. I gotta look at you like timber. Watch out for flying watch out for flying glass. 'Cause the ceiling fell in and the bottom fell out. I went into a spin and I started to shout, I've been here. This is it, this is it. I was walking along, minding my business, and that came and hit me in the eye. Flash, bam, alakazam, one-colored purple striped, pretty green polka-dotted sky. Flash, bam, alakazam, goodbye.